God bless you. Hi, I'm Atia. Today is November 6th, 2025. And I guess this is kind of a part two to Christlike Response. I didn't anticipate doing a part two, um, but I decided just to get out of the house. Sometimes just a quick run to the store is, because it's just a change of scenery. So I got out and did that and went just grab some coffee because I was, pretty much out. But on my way coming back, and I'm not for sure if I was just going to come back home, but I was just going back in a direction where I live. And a thought came to my head because I passed this neighborhood store. I was like, oh, I forgot, I need such and such. So I was just going to go to the one closer to my house. And I heard the spirit say, no, make the block, go to the one right there, the one I just passed. It was only like maybe a block and a half, maybe 2 blocks away. So I made the block and go around, go pick up, item came up to like, what, $3 and some change. But as I was standing in line, I was noticing the transaction before me. And there were just a few things happening. And I noticed that the cashier was just a little frustrated with whatever, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but the cashier was a bit frustrated with the transaction ahead of me. So I'm just standing in line and, I'm just kind of looking at the cashier and I totally get it because I've been in retail. And cashiering was one of the departments or one of the things that I was trained in. So I totally get it, especially working with people. Sometimes it can be a little bit challenging and people think that, you're just standing behind the register. But listen, when you're doing cash registering, you're dealing with so many different personalities that come in your line. And you're dealing with making sure that you are ringing things up and correct change and all the little intricate details that people on the other side of the cash register you don't get to see. So cash registering is a little bit more tedious than what people realize it. So I'm just kind of looking at her. And when I get to my order, I, see some things on the ground. So I pick it up and I'm handing it to the to the cashier. So this opens a dialogue. And I noticed that once we begin to converse about, what I was picking up off of the ground, I noticed that the cashier's demeanor changed. And then we begin to have a brief, conversation. And I know for some people, it kind of frustrates you when the cashier is talking and, the line is building up. But you don't know what that person is going through. And listen, some of those brief conversations with customers, they totally brighten your day. Because I can't tell you how many times I was like having a totally like frustrating day in retail, and just some conversations with the customers totally brightened my day, and vice versa. So we were having conversations, and I'm noticing the line behind me, but we're still conversing, and then now we're talking about personal things, and but her whole demeanor changed. Listen, your response to people can totally and this is really just confirmation to the video that I posted earlier. We don't know what type of day a person is having. It just so happened that the Lord allowed me to witness the transaction ahead of me. But how many times have you gone up to the register and there was no one there, or you couldn't find them, and it's like they came back, finally, and it seemed like they had an attitude. It was like they didn't want to be there. Well, you know what? Sometimes you don't want to be there. Retail work is not for the faint of heart, depending on what tasks you have, what type of day you've had, the customers, because y'all, I'm just gonna say y'all can be a bit much. I try to make sure When I go to the store, and a lot of times I mean, this has happened like many, many times where, the cashier will say, "Oh, I'm sorry for this," and I tell them, "No, no, no, I get it. Don't worry about it." If someone ahead of me is maybe taking a little bit longer, or they may, be training, I tell them, "Oh, no, no, no. Trust me, I get it. I used to be a cashier. I used to work retail." And so I totally get it. I totally get it. And in having those conversations, and people that understand, even if you've never done retail work, just showing compassion, even if the cashier was just totally on one today. I mean, I've picked up on, been in the store and have seen cashier, and they just didn't have a pleasant attitude. I mean, just didn't. And have come across the same people or person multiple times, and they just still weren't kind people. But still, your response to them could totally change their day. And she and I was having this conversation about family, and I'm trying to walk off because I'm looking at the people, the line that's building up behind me. So, needless to say, I left. She had a smile on her face. I had a smile on my face, and I could see that the customers waiting in line had a smile on their face as well. So please, just think about your Christ-like responses when you are in situations, because you just never know whose day you're going to brighten. Okay, this was just a quick video for today. Please know that I'm praying for you. I appreciate all of the followers. I really, really do. I appreciate that you took the time to press like, or you press the play button, and whether you just came by on accident, you stayed on purpose. That means something to me. Any response, any reply, even if it's unfavorable, I appreciate you. I really, really do, because this helps me, this motivates me, this encourages me to keep going. All right, you all. I pray that you enjoy the rest of this phenomenal day. God bless you. I'm praying for you. I love you. But remember, God loves you most.